Valencia Jewish Quarter, geolocalization of gates, streets of the ancient Jewish Quarter of Valencia. Semah de Valencia returns to Valencia. I am José Lepervanche Valencia, and this is a story map of the Jewish Quarter of Valencia, according to some of the authors we have used here as a reference. To start, we have created a reference map, a small express map using ArcGIS Story Maps and the internet to localize the important points in the Jewish Quarter. We created a point that we placed in Google Map, and based from this point we started our walking journey. But before we go to the Jewish Quarter, let's go outside to the gate of the Jewish people that were outside the Jewish Quarter. Here in the station, at the station of Cologne, on the subway, they found these ruins of the old walls that was used by the Jewish people to enter to the cemetery and then walk to the Jewish quarters. Inside the station of Cologne, you can see also some artifacts that were found during the construction of the station. We have a map and we have gates representing different years. When we walk to the corner of the Calle Salva and University, we found the location of Puerta de Esplugues that was supposed to be here according to Rodrigo and Pertegás. And from this corner, we decided that this was the southeast corner of the Jewish Quarter, and then start walking north from Calle Universidad. In Calle Universidad, we can find the University of Valencia now, and inside you can see the ruins of a medieval wall that continue along Calle Universidad. When we cross to Calle La Paz and continue north, we are going to arrive to Plaza de San Vicente Ferrer or Plaza de los Patos. We are now in the center of the northeast area of the Jewish Quarter. The church is the church of Santo Tomás and San Felipe Neri that is located here next to the plaza. When we cross to the corner to Calle Trinquete de Caballeros, we are going to find a medieval cemetery. The cemetery is also open to the public and is from the 13th century and is located next to the church of San Juan del Hospital. The church San Juan del Hospital marks the northeast corner of Valencia Jewish Quarter. Back to the church, in the back of the church we're going to find later a small narrow alley. When we continue to Calle del Mar and Carrer de la Cruz Nueva or New Cross, we're going to find the location of an old minor synagogue. The synagogue was located in the back of the College of Corpus Christi in this exact location. Going back to Calle del Mar, we are going to see the location of the major synagogue in between Calle del Mar and Muñoz de Grain, and this is a view from Calle del Pollo, where we can see in the back the Palacio of Valeriola. This Valeriola Palace is being remodeled. It's going to be a center of art, and inside they found a traditional oven and a private synagogue. When we continue walking for Calle del Mar to the west, we're going to find Calle Avellanas. This street going north was the location of the northwest part of the Jewish Quarter near the Portal de la Figuera. If we follow this small alley to Plaza de la Reina, we're going to see how was the look during the 1391 assault to the Jewish Quarter. In this corner of the Plaza of la Reina, we have a monument that is a lady with two pigeons that represent a tribute to the victim of terrorism. And so people want to add a plaque to remember the victims of 1391 assault to the Jewish Quarter. When we continue in Calle del Mar, this is the location of Puerta de Figueras, according to Rodrigo and Pertegás, and this is a view from Calle del Paz. When we continue south, in Calle Luis Vives, we can find a small plaza dedicated to him, and is supposed to have his house near this location. Next to this corner, we have Plaza Margarita Valdaura, that was his wife. When we continue walking east for Calle Vidal, we are going to find the Palace of Two Waters, that is the National Ceramics Museum. It's a beautiful palace in this corner of the Jewish Quarter. We continue walking south and east to Plaza del Colegio del Patriarca. In this plaza, we're going to find several elements that, although they are not Jewish or Sephardic, they have a plaza, the university, and the College of Corpus Christi, with many important things to see. In the back of this college was the minor synagogue. When we continue visiting the plaza, we arrive back to the corner of Calle Salva, but before we have a plaza, we have a fountain that represents the city of Valencia, the queens and the king, the Pope Alexander VI, and the rector of the university, Vicente Blasco. And this is the fountain from Calle Salva, and we continue walking east to the starting point of our short walking tour, that is Calle Salva with Calle Universidad. Some authors are trying to locate the exact location of the gate, the En Esplugues, that according to them they are some part north of Calle Universidad. But meanwhile, we keep our corner here because we are using a very old reference that has been used several times by several authors. But again, this is a living history. We are using these global story maps that allow us to update the places. 500 years after these events in the Jewish quarters, a Sephardi returns to Valencia. As I told you, I am Semah de Valencia, and this was an article that was made by the Levante newspaper. They also mention what we're doing in geolocalizing the Jewish quarter of Spain and Europe. And this is part of our project to travel, explore, discover, learn, and educate. These are some of the books we use to find the maps and to see the locations. The Judería de Valencia by Salvador and Dana, La Valencia Judía by Marilda, Azulay, and Estrella, Israel, that have different maps of different times that were very useful to do our story map. Different books and reports and articles by Jose Hinojosa Montalvo related to the Jewish Quarters of Valencia during medieval times. The classic Judería de Valencia by Rodrigo and Pertegás, that is the oldest reference we found with maps that everybody is trying to narrow and to confirm the location. Blanquina March and Valencia Judía provided many pictures and a walking tour that we follow to find our own story map. And finally, very easy to get, we went to the tourist office of the Generalitat of Valencia tourist office, and we found the street map that they give to all the tourists, and here we mark the location of the recent Jewish quarter that we follow using this story map. This global story map is one of our projects of global learning adventures, in this case doing European Jewish quarters and the Jewish of Spain. We welcome you to continue watching our maps.